Horslyx is often viewed as a high sugar product, but in reality, when the recommended intakes are followed, it's relatively low in comparison to many other feed products. When you look at the daily recommended intake for some different feeds, including Horslyx balancers, it's important to look at the total quantity of feed taken over the day and how much sugar that contributes to the diet, not the percentage of sugar content you see on the label. In front of us we have 4 jars. From the left, the first jar contains 240 grams of sugar. The second jar contains 82.5 grams of sugar. The third jar contains 1,000 grams of sugar, and the last jar contains 2,000 grams of sugar. These jars represent the daily intake of sugar for a 500 kilogram horse from the recommended daily amounts of some common feeds. These are a Horslyx balancer, good hay, a typical cool mix, and grass. Grass sugar content can range up to 25% or even more, depending on the grass variety and weather conditions. Horslyx balancers have a sugar content of approximately 33%, while good hay would be expected to be approximately 10%, and the typical cool mix would be around 8% sugar. So, which feed do you think relates to which jar of sugar? The first jar is actually what your horse would receive from a typical cool mix. 3 kilograms of a typical cool mix will contribute 240 grams of sugar with an average sugar content of 8%. The second jar from the left contains the sugar contributed to the diet from a Horslyx balancer. While a perceived high sugar content of 33% would put many people off feeding Horslyx, 250 grams of a Horslyx balancer would only contribute 82.5 grams of sugar to the diet. The third jar, 1,000 grams of sugar, is what 10 kilograms of good hay would contribute to the diet from the dry matter. This would be the recommended daily feeding intake to a 500 kilogram horse in good condition, and good hay is approximately 10% sugar. The last jar is what growing grass would contribute towards the diet, and is usually the largest source of sugar in the horse's diet, typically containing 20% sugar in the dry matter. A 500 kilogram horse will easily consume 50 kilograms of fresh grass in a single day, which is approximately 10 kilograms of dry matter and contains 2,000 grams of sugar. From this, we can see that the recommended daily amount of a Horslyx balancer for a 500 kilogram horse actually provides less sugar than 1 kilogram of hay would. It's important to remember that as a result of evolution, sugar is a natural part of the horse's diet, and horses are highly efficient at digesting it, as long as the intakes are little and often, such as eating hay or grass or licking a Horslyx throughout the day. In healthy, exercised horses, sugar should not cause a problem. However, there are undoubtedly some horses and ponies that do need a low sugar, not sugar-free diet. So remember, it's important to consider feeding rates when looking at the percentage content of sugar, as the highest percentage sugar content doesn't always contribute the most sugar to the diet when fed correctly.